page. Big, huge things happening. Don't forget this weekend, Murrapalooza at Clifton Heights, PA. Murrapalooza. Big event going on, Murrapalooza. Buddy Corey Curtin's going to be there, DJing. Good times, Saturday. That's the first thing I was going to get off my back. Here we are. It's Monday night. And believe it or not, more activities actually happened today than there has been all weekend. Alec Baldwin's going to get to walk away. This is the other girl's going to take the rap for Alec Baldwin. That's terrible. That's terrible. I didn't want to put it on the live, but that girl is going to take the fall for Alec Baldwin. And mark my words, Hollywood has this thing where they pay people off and they get to do whatever they want. That whole story sounds fishy. He's telling me they said he didn't know anything. Well, that's a victim role. I don't believe that for 1 minute. That's one of the parts that I was going to say on my live, but I'm not going to really talk much about that. We already know Hollywood is a cult in itself, and they get to do what they want. Look at Diddy; he's still getting away with stuff. But I didn't really want to get on there about that. What I wanted to get on here personally for this one is I wanted to talk about Deion Sanders, and this started with LeBron, honestly. But Deion Sanders, I'm going to put Deion Sanders on the spot with this, as he has declared that neither one of his sons will only go to 6 NFL teams. But I heard this today on Barstool Sports, BAI Barstool Sports. Hopefully, Barstool Sports isn't pulling the leg on this one. It's probably one of the craziest things I've ever heard somebody say, next to LeBron. And him saying, I'm going to make calls if my son doesn't play in the NBA. That's terrible. That's going to ruin the NBA if he goes in there next year because LeBron doesn't get his way. Just like his fake ring, his fake championship banner, his fake in-season championship banner that he knows he won't win a real one, so he's going to get a fake one and put the banner on like they want. Kobe would flip in his grave. But it's the reason why I allude to this is that is the start of it, because now I feel like Deion Sanders is telling people that you don't need a GM to draft a player. So you're telling another 26, 27 other teams that they cannot draft your son because you don't make the list. That is an unacceptable thing to say in any way, shape, or form. I haven't heard this out of Deion's own mouth yet, so I'm not going to go all the way. I always respected Deion as a player. He was a very good player. He's got 3 rings, or 2 rings rather. I think he's got 2, right? Yeah, he's got 2 rings. He won with the Niners and the Cowboys back to back. He jumped on super teams pretty much. Not that he couldn't have did it by himself. He was a very talented player, but he was never going to win it without a super team. But he was probably one of the best players, all-around players in the NFL. Although he never tackled guys. That was one thing. But Deion, he was a great player. I'm not discrediting Deion Sanders as the player, but I am as the human being to put your sons in that spot. To me, is blasphemous and it's wrong. And I will speak on my own. And I told people I was going to go live tonight to talk about this. You don't dictate. That's dictatorship. You don't dictate where your sons go to college. He's dictated where they went to college now. He's moved them from program to program. The portal. That's another thing that's really bad is the portal. It's going to have these college kids not graduate school. They'd rather just jump from college to college. You're never going to learn anything. So you're basically saying you're going to go to play, and if you don't make it, then that's what it may be. That's what that tells me when you're entering a transfer portal. Okay. But regardless, when LeBron said that his son, I call him LeCheat, but I'm trying not to say that. But his son, he's going to ruin his son by doing that. He needs, he's another one. And then we'll get back to Deion. He needs to stop trying to dictate where his son's going to play. If somebody wants to draft somebody, they will draft you. That's the purpose of a general manager. They're supposed to make these decisions. with the coaches and the ownership and to clear everything. Now you have 25 teams, and one of them wasn't the Houston Texans of all teams. So he thinks that the Dallas Cowboys are a better team than the Texans. If he's saying that he thinks that the Dallas was one of the teams that he thinks that the Suns should go to. First and foremost, the Dallas Cowboys will not be at the Texans level. They will lose. They always lose. They only play the game, the Cowboys, for stardomship now. So if your Suns did go there, Deion, and I hope that you see this, they're not winning anything. The Philadelphia Eagles have a chance. I didn't. I was surprised they were on the list actually. The Commanders are not winning anything. Your Suns will not make the Commanders a better team. The Atlanta Falcons, they overpaid Kirk Cousins. The Falcons win 5 games this year. Even the list just didn't make sense. You could have said the Texans. You could have said the Jacksonville Jaguars. You could have said a team like, unfortunately, Buffalo Bills are out of it. Miami Dolphins. Buffalo Bills are in big trouble. I feel they are. But you went ahead and you said 6 teams. You labeled it the 6 teams. You left 25 teams out off the board. You're pretending like you're the GM of a team, Dion. Okay? There's no room for this kind of behavior. I haven't heard him speak yet, so I can't totally put Deion down in his spot. But it's disappointing to hear these kind of things, that he's labeled them down to 6 teams. It makes no sense to me that he would ever say something like that. It's blasphemous. I really think that if he really didn't say it, he needs to get on TV and tell people that he didn't say it, because that makes no sense. Because people are going to believe that he has 6 teams, that his Suns are only capable of going to 6 teams right now. It does not. It's not. It's not a good look for his Suns, and it's not a good look for him. Because I'm telling you right now, he went from a one double A team and jumped to Colorado thinking he was going to be the man, and he only won 4 games this year, and he lost 8. Now he's trying to power out a super team with Warren Sapp. Okay, if you want to improve yourself, I have no problem with that. But when you go out and you tell people, wherever this leaked at, that your Suns are only going to go to 6 teams, it's just crazy to me. Jeremiah Trotter's son. Jeremiah Trotter doesn't want him really particularly to go to the Cowboys, but he can't stop it. But he never came out and said, I'm only going to let my son go to this couple teams. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense to me. His son's going in. Why would that be a thing? His son's pretty good. And honestly, his son's better than both of Deion's kids, as far as I'm concerned. But that's a whole nother thing. Not trying to disrespect Deion Sanders, but let's be realistic here. Your kids need to make decisions for themselves, and you are trying to make them for them, and that's wrong. There's no reason on earth that you should be that ever should have came about. Never. There's no reason for that. This is why I got on live today, because I really believe that I need to say this message. Now I know that people probably haven't read my thing, but hopefully people start joining my lives and understanding where I'm coming from. When you said that 25 or 26 other teams, I don't really know how many teams are in NFL. I think you're leaving out 25 or 26 other teams because you don't feel like they're worthy of going to the team. So you left the Indianapolis Colts out. You left out the Steelers. You left out the Steelers, who right now, if they went to them, they probably would have a good chance, in my opinion. And you left them out. But you took the Cowboys and the Commanders. That's crazy to me. But again, these are the things, and it started with LeBron. This is the reason why LeBron needs to retire, and his son doesn't really need to be in the NBA right now, because it's going to be terrible. It's a marketing money making scheme. It's not. They made parts of sports. It's more about selling tickets than it is to actually win anymore. That is what it has become, and getting overpaid. And this is why sports are changing. And you cannot have college football coaches telling NFL teams they can't draft their sons because they're not worthy enough. That's what you're saying when you say that. Okay? That's ridiculous. I don't care who it is. It's just the fact that it's Deion right now. But next, somebody else is going to jump into the woodworks. Who knows who it could be? Hopefully, T.O. doesn't do it. I don't think Terrell Owens do it, but you never know. He might have some kind of crazy something to say. He's always been notorious for it. Who knows? He went to the Cowboys thinking he was going to win a Super Bowl, and he lost in the second round of the playoffs. He got exposed very fast. You can't just jump to super teams and expect to win. Your talent didn't overweigh the whole team, you know? And I think Deion still thinks that he's playing, and he hasn't played in 30 years, okay? Maybe 25. Maybe he played in like 2000, 2001-ish, but he hasn't played since then. So for him to go out and say that his sons, if they don't get drafted by 6 teams out of 32, that he's not going to let them enter the draft, that's crazy to me. I can't fathom that. That's just downright crazy. But I thought I would talk about it, and I kind of hope that people watch this video to give me your opinions, because my opinion on this personally is that Deion Sanders needs to step back as a father and become a coach and stop trying to be the hoopla spotlighter and pretending like he's the godsend of the world. You were 4-8 last year, okay? Your sons are pretty good, but they should be able to make decisions for themselves, not just 6 teams. That's what I'm getting at today. So may lay where it may right now. But Deion Sanders, and I'm sure, you know, he has all good intentions for his kids, but this is a bad look for you, dude. Um, you need to back out of this, and you need to just let the process play itself out and stop trying to dictate what your sons are going to do. I think this is crazy. This was crazy enough where I was stopped at work when I saw it on Barstool and said there's going to be a live video tonight about this, because I have to say these things, because it does not make 1% sense. None of this makes sense. So take it as they may. That's where I'm at with it. So anyway, I'm going to get off. I'm going to share this video. Hopefully everybody hits the subscribe button and subscribe to the X-Man promotion page, and we'll have more of these later. But that's my opinion on it right now. Anyway, X-Man out.